23rd of October, the Great Exposition Grounds, Experimentation Stage. Well, hey howdy everyone, Lost City here, back in action for more Investigation Attraction. That's right. Boop, boop. We are investigating this dingy little machine that, it's a lot more run down than usual. What the hell happened to it? Oh my, so this is the machine that was used to deceive people into thinking instantaneous kinesis had taken place? Yes, that's right. Or rather, it was the machine. A little worse for wear at the moment. Extraordinary lengths Professor Hairbrain went in order to obtain the research grant. No. The professor was tricked as well. He didn't know anything about that. Yes, of course. It is amazing though, isn't it? The scale of the whole affair is so very British. You're right about that. Never see such a grand deception in Japan, that's for sure. Oh, look, is that Lord Von Zieks? So I think we're more or less done here, aren't we? Shall we, Mr. Sato? Already? He is the Reaper, remember? We do well to keep our distance, I think. We have permission to be here, from the top. We're perfectly well allowed to investigate this machine, as long as we don't touch anything. From the top? You mean Lord Strongheart? Exactly. So we can stay here and stare at this wreckage for as long as we like. She could have been in the center of the explosion here and would have bent her steel will. Oh no. That woman is something else. She is fierce. And I love her for it. I heard that a ride on the Ferris wheel is a favorite romantic outing among young London couples. I think the romance would be slightly spoiled by the objection terrors personally, but then I'm not a Londoner. Are you a little scared of heights, Mr. Naruto, though? It's not that I'm scared, not at all. It's just that staying on the ground seems to be so much safer. Well, perhaps I shall have to ask Iris and Mr. Slomes to accompany me on it, in that case. When you put it like that, part of me does want to give it a try. Oh dear, it is complicated for you, isn't it? Ah, it is. What about over here? Oh, isn't it exhilarating? All this different architecture from all corners of the world. It does make you feel a bit like an explorer, doesn't it? I know it's all suggestive, but the onion-shaped roofs have rather caught my attention personally. It is very subjective, isn't it? Japanese buildings with their wood and paper construction have excellent ventilation. And I've realized that Britain buildings being made from brick and stone are very strong and long-lasting. The more you know about how things are done in other countries, the more you understand your own, I feel. Oh yes, I do agree with you there. I can't help wondering what an onion does for the roof of a building. I mean, I suppose it's playing on my mind because I don't like the taste of onions. You really ought to let your taste in vegetables dictate your taste in roofs, Mr. Naruto. I mean, I also don't get it, but like, I like it as an aesthetic. I just don't get it. Because like, it feels like this is meant for a reason. And I want to say it has to do with sand, but I'm not 100 on that. I don't know. This wasn't here yesterday. Really? But if I'm not mistaken, is an occasion in which the victim was standing before he was apparently beamed through the air. That's right, the birdcage. According to what Professor Hairbrain said in court, It's made of wood. Or more precisely, Japanese cypress, I think. And despite having been an explosion and then falling from a great height, it's relatively unharmed. What wonderfully durable construction, wouldn't you say, Mr. Naruto? I understood that the forensics investigation team had taken it away yesterday to examine it. I suppose they must have brought it back here when they finished their work. Sadly, not with the body inside. No, that's right. I know we were given strict instructions not to touch anything, but still. It's too important piece of evidence to overlook. We might need it for the trial. Okay. What now? Oh? Nothing in particular? No, why did you say that there was something then? What a terrible explosion it must have been. Even the steel girders had buckled and twisted in a blast. What they called a birdcage was right in the middle of it all? Just here? But look, Mr. Naruto, that metal grill on the floor. It's as though it's designed to open. Looks as though it's designed to open. It does, doesn't it? The floor had opened at the precise moment the explosion occurred. The birdcage could have dropped through and disappeared from sight. I don't think there's any doubt that this was a very elaborate hoax, is there? Nope. And I feel like Mr. Lord Von Zieks knows that it was the case. And he just didn't want to spare his friend's feelings. I genuinely do believe that. Look at that horn-shaped transmitting device. Isn't it amazing? That's exactly what I thought when I first saw it. Makes you think, doesn't it? If only it had just been a normal horn, none of this would have happened. That's almost exactly what I thought as well. I bet I can predict what you're going to say next in that case. You're about to say, nothing ever goes to plan, aren't you? Oh no, I would never say something like that. Mr. Naruto can't win. However much I look at them, I just can't come to terms with those termy handballs floating in the sky. I've been glaring at them constantly since we came up here. Sorry, the feeling of wanting to ride in one and wanting to never set foot in one are fighting it out inside me. Oh, so he has two wolves. Okay, got it. You don't look, where you're walking, you might fall from the stage. I don't think I've noticed. That's how fiercely the battle inside me is raging. I think you should make peace with riding one, Mr. Naruto. It really would be much safer that way. Safer? I don't know about safer, but sure. Alright, Mr. Reaper, how are you? Least approachable man in the world, winner. 10 years in a row. Oh my god! Be strong, Mr. Naruto. Your country and your assistant stand firm behind you. Lord Von Zieks? What? Well, beautiful weather we're having, isn't it? I thought I was making it quite clear that I didn't want to be disturbed. Apparently you Nipponese are unequipped to read the signs. Oh, I read them. So, what are you doing here? Entry to this area is prohibited. Well, the thing is... Lord Chief Justice Strongheart granted us permission to investigate. on the condition that we didn't disturb anything. And yet you've managed to disturb me. Ah! Never mind. State your business then. Think of it. There are quite a few things I'd like to ask Lord Von Zieks about. Not least of which is that awful case, even though it's nothing to do with this. Ask away, Mr. Naruto. You won't know unless you try. Okay, can I go back for a second? Can I present to him something? No, you have to ask him this way. So you can only present the badge to him at his office, it seems. Okay, what about Knock Trevor? Are the police trying to locate the engineer, Mr. Trevor, already? Surely that goes without saying. I'm very keen to see him found as well. Trouble is, we don't have much to go on aside from the description of the man we heard in court earlier. Which, according to Professor Harebrain, was of a tall, thin gentleman who has straight, white hair and wears a black monocle. So, I was just wondering, I mean, I realize it's probably not possible, but, we very much appreciate any more clues you could give us. Sato-san really knows how to take the bull by the horns. Fine. Why not? The photograph of the man here from the investigation 10 years ago. Though it appears he already had that black monocle at the time. What? Oh, no, nothing. I was just surprised that you shared that with us. We all need the man's testimony in court tomorrow, which means we have to do everything we possibly can to track him down in such a short time available. So why wouldn't I show you the photograph? What is it about Lord Von Zieks? Sometimes I just can't work him out at all. Because he's actually kind of a nice person and is just putting on a racist facade. I'm telling you. So, Clint was the name of your older brother, I understand? Lord Von Zieks? You Nipponese always have to be on guard whenever you're around. But you've been investigating me, have you? Oh, no. It's not like that. Well, alright, it is a bit like that. My older brother was also a prosecutor. He was the pride of the Von Zieks family. But tragically, a vicious killer took him from us. Professor, you mean? Is something funny? That's the extent of what you've discovered, is it? I shouldn't be surprised. Sorry? There's more to it then? Lackluster work is very much your trademark, isn't it? Oh, too kind. Are you going to tar all Nipponese with the same brush next? So tell me, what's your interest in the historic incident? As it happens, Lord Von Zieks, there's a rather curious case that's come to our attention. Are you aware of Madame de Spell's Museum of Waxwork by any chance? I am, naturally. I believe that since last month I featured in one of the displays there. A public scorn. Or some famous Reaper of the Bailey would have it to be exhibited, wouldn't he? Well, a particular waxwork has been stolen from the place and held for ransom. Particular waxwork? Which... Wait, you mean... Yes, it's the professor. Mr. Slums is investigating the case as we speak. I was unaware of that. It's turned as white as a sheet. Can... Excuse me? On the file I requested for the trial tomorrow. Thank you. Are you alright? Who is that man, Mr. Naruto? Lord Von Zieks' apprentice. Apparently. I'm not the only one. Sato-san could see it too. Lord Von Zieks, may we speak with your apprentice for a moment? With him? Why? Kazuma-sama! Is that him? He's the apprentice? Yo? Kazuma? I don't believe it! Your posture, presence, can only be... It's you, isn't it, Kazuma-sama? Felt something strange the very first time I encountered this cloaked figure. As if I knew him somehow. Can it really be you, Kazuma? Wait! Too late. What's going on here? Yeah, about your apprentice. What is your interest in my apprentice exactly? Act as if you know the man or something. Well, since when has he been in your care? I don't recall you having an apprentice before I left Britain 6 months ago. Lord Strongheart introduced me, about 3 months ago now, with instructions to mentor him as a prosecutor. But he didn't tell you, why, did he? The man appears to be suffering from amnesia, forgotten every last detail about himself. He has amnesia? Tomorrow he will appear in court at my side. What? He's to serve as my judicial assistant, on Lord Strongarm's orders. He'll be in court with us? Now then, unless I'm much mistaken, I believe this conversation has run its course. Oh. Yes, thank you. Definitely saw a reaction there. When Susato-san called out like that, it really seemed to hit a nerve. When she called out Kazuma-sama. You've already met the masked man, haven't you, Mr. Naruto? Yes. Yesterday, in fact. At Lord Von Zieks' office. I see. And if Kazuma-sama really is alive, it means that Mr. Sloan lied to us. I know. I need to speak to him about that. You're going to have to leave now. A forensic investigation team are due to arrive shortly. If they find you here, it will cause problems. What sort of problems? Foreign affair problems. Well, we could do without that. Alright, we'll be on our way. Let's go, Mrs. Sato. Of course. Alright, so we just move on in. Can we converse some more? Investigating the scene. Let's go. Gina? We were actually hoping that we could investigate the scene again. Yeah, alright. If it's around here, you could do what you want. Oh, that's alright, isn't it? I'm gonna be playing with my new friend here. Ah, yes, Toby. Apparently we can't look around the stage now, but because the forensic investigation team are at work. You do anything, Gina? In your capacity as Inspector Lestrade? Look, I'd like to help you out. But I'm just a trainee, ain't I? Ain't nothing I could do. It suits you, yes. Fair enough. That was pretty nice. Let's move on. We can go to Mountain Dispels, the prison, or the forensics. We'll go to Mountain Dispels, and prison will be last. Because I like it as last. The 23rd of October. Madame Tuspels. Oh my! No wonder it's called the House of Horrors. I'd like to turn on my heels and go straight home. By the confectionery. Being scared makes you crave sweets? I understand that. I was looking forward to a reunion after 6 months away, but there's no sign of Mr. Slums anywhere. That's strange. He should be here investigating the abduction of the wax work. Well, I suppose we'll just have to come back again later. Okay, so what if we look around? Not there. I don't think over here either, right? Nope. But let's do that. Ah, there's a stepladder there. Look. Oh, yes, a stepladder. I think perhaps we should let the Protorius know that someone's left it out. The stepladder, I mean. Is something wrong? Why do I feel as though I just managed to sidestep an argument? God, it's the funniest shit. I love it too much. This one's posture reveals his weakness. Sorry? The killer's stance leaves him wide open to attack. Quite sure I could see him off. A Susato takedown, then a Susato squash, and finally, a Susato smash. Right. If that doesn't render the culprit unconscious, a Susato slam should finish him. A Susato slam? Oh, I'm sorry. It's rather hard to explain. Leave yourself open slightly and I'll demonstrate. Absolutely not. I like how that's what she thinks about when seeing somebody. Just like, how can I take them down? That old policeman isn't here now, obviously. I can't believe he just happened to be on jury, though. I understood that London has a population of 6 million people, and yet you do seem to run into the same people disproportionately often, don't you? Well, yeah, otherwise they'd use more models. That can't be the case, right? Oh yes, the heavy curtains in the middle of the house of horrors. Whatever's on the other side of them, you just know it's going to be terrifying, don't you? The sign says it's the Madame Duspel's special exhibit. It seems you have to pay extra to go inside. I know, can you believe that? Pay more money? As if we haven't been scared enough already? It's not my doing, Mr. Naruto. Yeah, but, you know, he's just... How can I eat this, y'all? Oh, what a horrifying scene! A murderer caught in the grisly act! I know, in case you were wondering. It's the one with the big knife that's supposed to be the killer. I don't think anybody would be in any doubt about that, surely. Did you know that according to the description, the bathtub in the back has no particular significance? What? Really? I thought it was meant to show the killer also worked in the bathhouse, peddling criminal wares. Ha! You have a new theory. Well, how is that not sibling energy? Explain to me how it's not, you know? That totally is. Alright, I guess we can't do anything there, so forensics laboratory we go. 23rd of October, forensics laboratory. I believe this is it. Dr. C's laboratory? Chemical smell really assaults the nose. There's plenty to assault the eyes in here, too. It looks as though the doctor isn't here. But we're here now, so we may as well do some sightseeing, don't you think? What a seasoned tourist you become, Mrs. Sato. You just have a little look around, being careful not to upset any restless souls. Sure. Hold it. A table and a set of sharp tools. When you consider each in isolation, all looks quite innocent. But why is it that when you put them side by side, it seems so horribly disturbing? It might be best not to ponder it too deeply. Seeing the large tome that's open in the desk does make me wonder, though. How can anybody concentrate on bookwork with this, ulcerated odor of chemicals in the air? Either have to have a cast iron constitution, or a really terrible sense of smell. Okay. All the bottles on the shelves in these cabinets. The assortment of chemicals. These ones here are labeled highly toxic. That's worrying. There are also things that look like salt and pepper shakers in there. Oh yes, and they actually say salt and pepper on them. Doctor probably spends a lot of time in this room, I suppose. Perhaps she has meals here sometimes. Life goes on, even when you're surrounded by death. True. Oddly enough, I actually knew a professor that worked on bones. And it was pretty interesting to hear her talk about like working on dead bodies and stuff. Mainly because there was a lot of respect for the actual cadavers. You should never mess with them whatsoever. As like a thing. Those large jars seem to be have pale things floating around inside them. I suppose they're fruit liquors or something? Or like pickled omeboshi plums we make back at home? Ah, Father had jars like this in his laboratory as well. I expect they're human organs in preserving a solution. Always examples of some rare medical condition. Mr. Sato, there are some things in the world that it's perfectly fine never know about. Oh! So as I said, I'm sure they're fruit liquors or emobashi, aren't they? Of course. He's a little bit scared. That's fine. I would be too. I scare way too easily, fam. Well, look at this. What a magnificent display case. The cherry wood has been polished to a high sheen, and the intricate carving is a joy to behold. Western cabinet makers really are very skilled, aren't they? Do you have nothing to say about the skeleton inside, Mr. Naruto? Mr. Sato, can't you tell that I'm trying very hard to avoid talking about the terrifying contents of the case? It's how I cope. I'll be sure to remember that from now on. I suppose this is Dr. C's desk? Ugh, would not like to work in a place like this. It's very tidy though, isn't it, Mr. Naruto? Imagine how efficiently she must work. Lighting is poor. It's bad for the eyes. The chemical smell can't be good for you. Not to mention the skeleton watching over you as you work, which is definitely bad for the nerves. Well, yes, those are valid concerns, I suppose. Just about cope with the one-eyed, Dorma, doll watching over me, but that's all. Real? Is that it? Do we have anything else to look at, or no? Looks like that's all we got. So I guess we had to go to the prison. It just gave me the option to look around. Look at this big, thick book here. Oh, it appears to be accounting a ledger as a record for the forensic investigation team spending, I think. Oh. What is it? It's clear that the team purchases various equipment and supplies on a monthly basis, but... well, one entry seems rather strange. Really? In what way? They're buying 500 scalpels every month. 500? They must be working really hard on dissecting corpses. I don't know. Judicial autopsies are only carried out in certain special circumstances. And scalpel blades can be sharpened too. It does seem a bit strange. Right. 500 scalpels a month? What could they possibly be using all of them for?